On today's episode of WatchJRGo, we are back in the Dream Garage build here at the new house, and today we're trying to add the Dream Garage door. What is going on, guys? I am WatchJRGo, and like I said, today we're here at the garage to do the most important part of the Dream Garage build, honestly. The rest of it is all just trimmings. This is the part where we cut a huge hole in the side of the house. So, as you guys can see, you're a little bit behind the curve, but we're gonna jump back in time right now. The door's actually just been unbolted, but back in the hole for the last few days. But now, the hole's about to get much, much bigger. It's brick time. They got the concrete saw here. They got our line drawn. Well, it looks like they're almost done cutting. They're done with the top and almost done with the sides. Looks like they have a little bit farther to go right there. And this one is basically all the way down, although they did say they're gonna clean this up, so I assume they're gonna just take a whole nother hit to bring it back to the line exactly. We're almost there. I am excited to see this hole open up. It should just be a few more minutes. I think they ran to buy another blade. And we're back to real time. So yesterday, they spent the whole day, they did the rough cut here. They're coming back today to actually cut a hole in the house, and hopefully I can show you guys a little bit more of it today. But first, let's talk about what went down to make all of this happen. So they had to take quite a few rows of bricks out. They chiseled these out and then carefully cut back and chisel the top sections there so they can get this giant piece of angle iron in that's screwed to that header that Eric and I built inside. So we framed the door in, and there are big giant lag bolts all the way through this piece of angle iron. That's actually really hard to see, but it's red iron in there, and it's tied back to our LVL header with just a bunch of gigantic lag bolts. So after that, they came back in with their mortar and they filled this in. They had to dye the mortar, mix it all up, try to make it kind of match. I'm hoping it matches the reddish grout mortar that's in here. If it doesn't though, I don't know, maybe we can fill that in with a paintbrush. There has to be some kind of technique to really finish that and make it look like it matches at least all the bricks original. So no change in the brick color because I had a bunch of extra and they cleaned up a lot of the bricks and just reused them. They also came up here and fixed a little crack that I had mentioned before. Now that we had the foundation lifted back up, it lifted the entire front porch back up a little bit and they filled in that gap, and now that should be sealed up and ready to go too. So basically the red iron's in, the rough cut's done, and here in just a couple of minutes, the brick guys should be back ready to cut all this brick out and cut a giant hole. So I am super excited to see this open up. They're also gonna cut our stem wall so we can drive through here, obviously. And then Eric and I are going to cover this up with plywood temporarily. I think the garage doors I think they landed today, and hopefully we have them later this week. I don't know if that's gonna happen, but I sure hope it's gonna happen. I was really worried about this when I saw it. But then I saw that they'd drawn on the new line where we actually said we were gonna cut, and this one's gonna be perfect. So that's going to be so exciting. Hopefully Eric and I can get this trimmed out tonight too. Then we'd have, you know, basically everything done, and we're gonna retrim that door as well. We're going to buy some Douglas fir and just rip all this old junk brick mold out that has problems and duct tape, and we'll stick up all new trim, paint it all black to match the black doors, and we'll be ready to rock. Onto the hole. Here is the progress update from inside the shop. It looks kind of the same, but you can see there is brick rubble all over the place. And of course the sheeting has kind of gotten loose where there's nothing between, well, no brick outside. So let's go outside and you guys can take a look at the hole, which I am incredibly excited about. So we're almost all the way there. It's crazy how much room there is between the brick and the sheeting. I never realized. There's like a 1.25 inches there or something like that. But we'll get all this trimmed out. Soon this will get cut, and we can cut the wood, drop this door, put a giant piece of plywood in for a temporary door. The first hole! I'm pretty excited about the hole. Okay. Plywood is destroyed, door should fall. I knew it was gonna happen. I tried so hard to avoid. Don't follow me, door. Okay, here we go. It's a drawbridge, not a door. So getting this door out of here today was a big improvement. It looks a lot better without that there. And we're just about ready. I mean, I could probably go ahead and start cutting all this out right now. We've got the base plate board already cut, ready to come out. All this stuff's loose. It literally just needs 2 more quick cuts and we can rip all of that out of there. And then that side, of course, is all out and mostly trimmed up. But this wood's also holding the tent, and it keeps raining today. The weather does not want to cooperate. So I can't cut quite all of it out. While that's all going down, we're gonna try to retrim this door and trim that door tonight. So I'm gonna start ripping all this off here. It's basically just trim and the actual brick mold. We're gonna get all that ripped off right now and then head to Home Depot here in just a bit, buy some wood, buy some Douglas fir, and start retrimming these things. So quite a bit of work to do, and we're gonna try to get it done as quickly as we can. The new doors, though, are a little ways out. We'll talk more about that later. Update, the brickwork is done. Most of the trim is off of the old garage door here. I spent quite a bit of time getting all of this stripped so we can trim it back out now with new wood. Make sure there's no rotten wood, no ugly brick mold. It's all gonna be new with, like I said, Douglas fir and the PVC brick mold instead of that old brick mold. So hopefully it doesn't degrade over time. That should solve some problems for us. And all that's really left now is I have to cut out one more piece of plywood right there in the corner. We'll trim that out here in a minute. I started, but it started vibrating the mortar down, so we quit immediately. So I have to hold off on that for at least, I don't know, 30 more minutes or something. Then it should be set up and we have to make like 100 something cuts right there. Who knows? You could probably cut every ½ inch and it would work, but 1,000,000 cuts, the number goes up in the concrete right there, so you can actually drive into this bay. It's gonna take a lot to get all of that out of there. And we're gonna need a saw with some water. The brick guys ran to get the adapter for their steel saw so we can just pump water in, probably as much water as we can pour onto this thing so that we don't fill the entire place up with concrete dust. So obviously that's gonna take a little bit of time still, but by the end of the night, Eric and I are hoping to have this all trimmed out and then covered back up with plywood so we can survive the weather for the next 2 weeks. A whole bunch of screws and a whole bunch of plywood. We basically have to build a temporary wall to weatherproof it. I should have jumped in here before we started sheeting this back up real quick, but we're throwing wood up to cover everything. We got a sheet of OSB. Eric's dropping in a sheet of plywood right now.
It's a $100 board.
I don't think it is.
That's what I'm charging.
I was like, I think they're $25 again.
Yeah, but I gotta have my cost.
I gotcha. Yeah, your cost. That's crazy stuff. Triple everyone else's cost.
Did you really just do that? That's crazy.
That's crazy, man.
Thanks, man.
All right. Well, we have a huge hole in the side of the house, which is amazing. Absolutely love it. Now we gotta start putting a wall up with some 2x4s and shooting these sheets into our framing for now. So I'm gonna grab you some screws. Eric convinced me not to go waste money on a new sheet of plywood, and we had that gigantic door sitting there, so we just screwed the door into our plywood wall. This is the step 1 of our temporary wall there, and honestly it's gonna hold, and it should keep the weather out of the garage and, you know, everything else out of the garage for the next couple days.
Grade A Oklahoma sheeting.
Grade A Oklahoma? Says right on there, Georgia Pacific.
Tell me the railroad dropped it right off.
That's right. So we have a huge hole in the house. I'm super excited about having a huge hole in the house because we can drive in already, although we won't be driving in for 2 more weeks until the garage door is on here. So right now, I guess we're heading to Home Depot to buy wood to trim that out.
Lowe's, yeah.
Home Depot, because I have a gift card. So
Doug Fur.
well, we'll be back in just a minute to get this all wrapped back up and looking good. We can't even completely finish this today because the old one used like a round over trim, like a 1/4 round, 1.5 inch piece of trim.
Yeah.
And the new garage door, of course, comes with the sealed PVC trim.
Yeah.
So we can't completely finish this one today either. We gotta wait till the doors show up. Well guys, we made the Home Depot run last night and it turns out they didn't have any of the Douglas fir that we needed. They did have the brick mold. Of course, we're switching to the PVC stuff, which doesn't rot. And that's gonna be super nice. We got some 10s, some 8s, enough to finish both of these doors. The brick guys are coming back to finish up one more thing before I can trim it out. There was one little hole where I wanted some more mortar in there and they're coming back in a day or 2 to finish that up. So we're probably stuck on the door for a minute, but that's okay because the garage doors aren't here either, as I explained before. So the deal was with the garage doors, I said I would get back to that. We missed the truck. So we ordered them a week and a half ago, somewhere in there. It may have even been longer, but he said the cutoff was like the day we ordered. And that wasn't, we didn't plan that. I didn't know when the cutoff was. I just said order the doors, and then he said they're ordered and they may or may not make the truck. Well, the truck was supposed to land Tuesday. It did. Our doors weren't on it, which means that these 2 doors will get here in a week and a half or something like that at this point. So 2 Tuesdays from today. They're getting installed the day after that, which is awesome. I'm super excited. He said since it's so far out, he would get me on the schedule for the next day and we should have this wrapped up. So I think we're gonna call this one here because other than trimming out the door, we're kind of done. We're gonna try to get the door done tonight. If we do, well, you guys are gonna see an update on that here in just a moment. But for now, this is what it looks like and I am super pumped that it looks the same as the other door. So there's our 16x7 there with all of its trim ripped off, ready to be trimmed back out. And here is our 8x7. And this one needs a couple 2x4s added to the edge and then trimmed out. And I'm also going to take the vibrating saw. That of course is the better name for the oscillator, and I'm gonna trim out this junk that it's like insulating board they used on some of the face of the garage. I'm gonna trim all that out and put plywood back up in there, and then we can put our trim boards on to get it all finished up. If there's one thing I can tell you, it's that I don't like that stuff. And it's also hard to attach to, and it compresses, so that's why we're gonna put real wood behind it. But hey, I did get rid of my Home Depot gift cards just buying all that brick mold. I mean, just that much is like $100 and change right there. It's crazy how fast it goes. Anyway, off to Lowe's to buy more material, and that is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to head on over to shop WatchJRGo.com for cool shirts not like this. And please like, share, subscribe, do whatever you want to do, and I will talk to you next time. It's about time for me to shove all this insulation back up in there, but I need to run all the low voltage wire for the garage door openers. So I want to do the pretty way, which is running Cat 5 behind the walls. So Cat 5, Cat 6. That way we can have nice little plastic trim plates where the sensors come out of the wall, and of course the buttons need to be pulled in Cat 5, Cat 6, so we can rip all that junk down. There's a lot of cleanup to do. And we still need the outlets for the openers, but the openers are here, so we're getting close. Same openers we used in the shop, the new 98022. We're always working on electrical over there, and I've got the breakers off, and I'm like, well, we could really open the door right now. Then I realize I can still open the door, just push the button, the battery's always got it.